Hi everyone. Language changes quickly. New words are added every year to English and other languages. Many new terms in English come from technology. Think about texting and other abbreviations and phrases people use. Then read a personal essay written by a father who must learn just what his son means when he texts LOL. LOL is a magazine article written by Adam Gopnik. Gopnik wrote this article to tell us a simple story about himself and his son Luke, who recently turned 12. Gopnik says that in New York, when 12 or 13 happens to a kid, some changes happen. And these changes are actually not just mild changes but profound ones. The bond between Luke and his father begins to change, although they used to have loads in common, like their love for football and hockey and supporting the same team. And actually, this wasn't weird to happen because what happens between Luke and his father, this gap which happened between them, is very similar to a lot of adolescents and their parents at this age or at this critical phase, which is the adolescence. Gopnik considers the phase of adolescence as the mortality of parenting, means the death of parenting or the end of parenting. And he considered this because at this time, each adolescent, each adolescent or a lot of adolescent at that time consider or think that they should be independent. They tend to be among their friends or to be isolated in their rooms. And this was the case with Luke. Starting from the age mentioned, which is 12, Luke used to have a similar routine, which is returning home from his school at 3. His father opens the door for him at 3:15, and here Adam describes a question that shouldn't be asked. He says so. He says that I usually ask him a question that shouldn't be asked, which is, how was your day? Usually, Luke's reaction to this question is that he used to hunch his shoulders, droops his head, enters his room, and shut the door without saying a word. Behind the door, he uses his computer, instant messaging his friends for a long time. And here comes a Gopnik opinion about the instant messaging. He shows that he doesn't understand the prevalence of the instant messaging. He doesn't understand the widespread of using it among teenagers or adolescents. And he also sets like a comparison between himself and his son, between himself when he was 12 and his son at the time, which is 12. Gopnik says that when he was 12, he used to use telephone calls for a long time, exactly like his son now uses instant messaging. But he thinks that telephone calls are much better than instant messaging, as within or during the telephone call you depend more or you have verbal communication, which is much better, of course, than just typing. However, he decides to use the instant messaging in order to be able to communicate with his son again, and he started using it. It's of course clear that Gopnik used to use instant messaging in order to strengthen the bond between him and his son again, and this what was already happened. They started to talk to each other for long hours. Luke started to tell him a lot of situations that happened to him, and actually, Adam's opinion about concerning the instant messaging changes He started to think that this is a good way of communication. He also liked the autonomy of it, means the state of being independent. For example, if you want to communicate with this person, you can. If you don't want, you're able to do this. If you want to answer at that time, you can. If you want to answer later, you can as well. So he liked using instant messaging, and he also liked, or adds that he liked, the abbreviation used within it. Like, for example, BRB, which means be right back, to U2, which means U2, G2G, which means go, got to go. All these abbreviations and more, Luke taught his father. And there was another abbreviation that his father didn't tell him about, which is LOL. Sorry, I mean, which his son didn't tell Adam about, which is LOL. But Adam says that he didn't need to be informed about or to be told about this abbreviation, as he could guess it, which is lots of love. This is what Adam guessed, or how he thought of the meaning of this abbreviation. He also liked that his son used to send them this abbreviation by the end of each conversation. However, that some of these conversations used to be sententious. Sententious, like giving him lectures, like telling him to do something, or warning him from doing something. He says, "I really got touched by this, or by telling me that he loves me a lot, even I'm lecturing him." Um, of course, this wasn't the case. Um, Luke used to have another meaning, or actually, LOL used to have another meaning, but the problem is that the father didn't know this, and he used to use it with a lot of people in a lot of situations. He used to use it in a lot of situations, and of course, some of these situations weren't suitable. For example, he used to use it, or he used it in a situation like when his sister was getting divorced. He was soothing her, telling her that we are all here, we are all behind you, and by the end, he wrote LOL. This is a situation. Another situation, like actually this situation was repeated, as he used to use it to when he was texting his colleagues at work. So by the end of each text, he used to write LOL, and this of course wasn't suitable. He knew that this wasn't suitable when he was one day was talking to his son Luke, telling him that he has to travel, and he told him that he really hates traveling and being away of his children, but he only does this in order to live a better life and in order to have the life that they want, and this is only for the sake of him. And by the end, he wrote also LOL. At that time, his son wrote in bold words, "Dad, what do you exactly think that the word LOL means?" So he answered, "It means lots of love." So Luke told him, "Of course not. It doesn't mean so. It means laugh out loud." This is the real meaning of LOL. Just by knowing this, he thought that he should return to everyone he told them, or he typed for him or her LOL in a wrong situation. And he also said that the misunderstanding that happened concerning this abbreviation reflects the real nature of, or the real nature between parents and their children. saying, "This is the real nature of every communication between parents and children, or a parent and their his child. We send them lots of love. They laugh out loud at us, and we don't even know they are doing it." One day, Adam and his son were on a trip, and Adam had to send in something to work, but his computer wasn't working, so he asked his son Luke to give him his computer. He agreed, of course, but when Adam asked him about the password, Luke hesitated and he didn't agree in the beginning, telling him, "What if I ask you about your password? Will you give it to me? Or will you tell me your password?" But Gopnik immediately agreed and told them, "My password is you, Luke 94." At that time, Luke told him about his password. He told him it isn't exactly you, but it's something we share together, or we used to share together, which is Montreal Puck. From that night on, when they got back to New York, they started instant messaging each other again, and every time they would include the abbreviation LOL. And it doesn't matter what it means. It means laughter or love or whatever it might mean at that moment for them. The words that we need to focus on in this text are accelerated. Accelerated means sped up. The second word is adolescence or adolescent. Adolescent or adolescence means children who are starting to become adults. So it could be an equivalent or a synonym for teenager. The third word that we have is mortality. Mortality is the condition of being alive and therefore certain to die. The fourth word that we have is the word prevalence. Prevalence is the condition of being common or widespread. The fourth word is the word autonomy, which means the state of being independent. Then we have the word absorb, which means to take in naturally. And the word absorb was the last word to have in this lesson. We also have some themes or ideas in this text, like the idea of mortality of parenting. Another idea was the theme of communication and the ways of communication. These are the themes that we should be focusing on. We also should be focusing on the character of Luke and the character of the father, Adam Gopnik. And by then we have reached the end of this lesson.